model of demonstration school. All right, this happened over the course of several years. We worked with the Tennessee Behavior Supports Project out of Knoxville and attended several of their trainings, applied many of their strategies for positive behavior supports. And the team that's standing behind me worked with our teachers, our leadership team, in order to create a model that is universal across our school. And the journey to this started in the fall of 2017 when Leigh Ann and I arrived at Lincoln. We were brand new to the school, so a new slate of administrators. In our favor, we had teachers who wanted different results and were willing to make these changes. We had a great behavior team that was willing to support, and the two of us had no biases. We were coming in with no preconceived notions. We just knew we needed to support our school. Working against us at the time was, kids were in the driver's seat. There wasn't really clear language used universally across our building to help our students or our teachers. And all the approaches at that time were all reactive. There was nothing proactive going on. And we realized very quickly that we needed a change, and fast.
So twice a year I'm really tall, sorry. Twice a year our teachers complete a universal screener, which helps us identify students who display behaviors internally and externally, and guide us on how to support students. So this was our data in the fall of 2017. Tier 1 was at 60%. The goal is for it to be at 80%. Tier 2 was at 22%, and it should be at 15%. And then Tier 3 was at 18%, and it should be at 5%.
Can you tell us what those tiers represent?
So the tiers represent just the different behaviors. So Tier 1 would theoretically be all of your students who get Tier 1 support. So that's just the general population. Tier 2 would be just your check-in, check-out kids who display just need a little extra support. And then Tier 3 would be like what you would call the high flyer kids, who you would probably do like a functional behavior assessment on them and just give them like all the really behavior support needed for them to succeed.
Thank you.
So, enter restorative practices. We found that our kids really didn't have any sort of sense of community. They didn't really know one another. They didn't have relationships. So we started each day with circles in the morning to start the day off right. And then we also intervene when there's a problem with the same set of questions. And those questions have become so predictable that they diffuse the situation before it even really escalates much more.
We also identify specific pathways to address behaviors. The 3 pathways included addressing behaviors in the classroom, addressing behaviors or needs in the office, and then therapeutically.
To address our students who are in Tier 2 and Tier 3, we instituted a check-in, check-out system, so our students had a touchstone person, their solid object that they could check in with, talk about how their day was going. We implemented 2 versions of this for those who just needed a little support and those who needed a lot more support. And then we also worked with district level supports for those students that needed the highest level of support. This right here is an example of one of our check-in, check-out forms, and it uses our language of being respectful, responsible, trustworthy, and safe.
So we also implemented the Student of the Month. The Student of the Month identifies 2 students in each class, including related arts. These are students who are identified as going above and beyond meeting our school-wide expectations. And this is a way for our school to celebrate the positives.
The next thing we did is created a common language.
Yeah, 4 school-wide expectations, and it starts in pre-K and goes all the way through 5th grade: respectful, responsible, trustworthy, and safe. Teachers teach this during September, and they revisit in January when kids return after Christmas.
The other thing we realized we needed to do is we needed to give our students a language to use to express their feelings. So we use zones of regulation. This allows students to have a common way to say, I'm angry, or I'm frustrated, or I'm excited, or I'm ready to learn and I'm in the green zone. We also provide them a space to calm down or to get regulated if they're too excited and they need just a minute to breathe, and it's called our Lion's Den. And you can find one in every single classroom.
So with the addition of our 9-week behavior parties, we began to provide opportunities to celebrate students who are following the expectations for 9 weeks. So we took a trip to a nearby park. We took a trip to the Eastman Auditorium to watch Inside Out. We had time with imagination blocks, cotton candy, snow cones. And yeah, so this is just for the students who are doing what they're supposed to for 9 weeks, and we just celebrate that.
We also went into creating a digital check-in, check-out to further support our check-in, check-out students, which helped us to also provide additional support to our students and our teachers.
So after 2 years of hard work, our triangle looked like this, yay! So tier 1, 84%, tier 2, 11%, and tier 3, 5%. So we did better than the expectations of 80, 15, and 5% in each category, so that's very exciting.
So the change is outstanding, and we have a very excited lion there to show you that. So here's our comparison from the fall of 2017. Oh, and the fall of 19 should be over on the other triangle. But you can see the dramatic difference in the culture in our building and what we've done. And one of the reasons why we are so excited to say that Lincoln Elementary is the best place in town. But
don't let our triangles do all the talking.
The best part about being student of the month is that you being a leader and your classmates look up to you.
Before school, what expectations at Lincoln are respectful, responsible, trustworthy, and safe. You can be respectful by listening to your teachers the first time. You can be responsible by taking your homework home, or you should be. Being trustworthy is when your teacher asks you to do something, you do it, and you don't do something else. And being safe is not checking off things that you know you're not supposed to.
What I like about circling in the morning is that you get to express your feelings, and if you're not feeling too well, you can talk about your feelings to your teacher. She can help you, or he can help you with your problem. One thing I want people to know about Lincoln is that it's the best place in town.
It's important to follow the school-wide expectations because it teaches you lifelong lessons and helps you be successful in life.
The 4 zones of regulations are green zone, ready to learn, red zone, mad, yellow zone, excited, and blue zone, sad. Some strategies you can use to get to the green zone are you can use it stressful, you can take deep breaths, you can have a great sleep at night, and you can have a great breakfast. Ways to get out of the blue zone to get to the green zone. Take a break, think happy thoughts, talk about your feelings, ask for a hug, or draw a picture. Ways to get out of the yellow zone to get to the green zone. Take a break, talk to the teacher, squeeze my stress ball, go for a walk, or take deep breaths. Ways to get out the red